tax evasion, tax avoidance, and tax evasion. It has always been said that the difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion is the thickness of the wall of the prison. All right, is the thickness of the prison wall. That is to say, that's a funny one. The two of them, tax avoidance and tax evasion, which of them is criminal, which of them is not? Okay, we'll look at them. But for now, what is tax avoidance? What is tax avoidance? Tax avoidance, as far as I'm concerned, is a means by which a taxpayer can minimize his tax liability. Means and methods by which a taxpayer can minimize his or her tax liability. Okay, it takes the form of identifying the loopholes in the tax law and then taking advantage of such loopholes to reduce tax liabilities. Okay, before now, let me just take you back a bit. Before the new Personal Income Tax Act of 2011, there used to be what we call allowances, relief and allowances, and one of them was children allowance, where an taxpayer was entitled to 4 children. There and then, persons without even a wife, not to talk of children, were claiming allowances for children, 4 children. So that was a loophole, and people took advantage of it, because the loophole there is that the tax authority will not request that you bring up the birth certificate of the children, or not even the birth certificate, like asking you to bring them physically for verification. That was a loophole that people took advantage of, and almost everybody was claiming children allowance for 4 children. So that's an example. So it is not a criminal offense. It is not an offense. It is not an offense. If you can walk around the system and take advantage of the loophole, then you can as well reduce your tax liability. Okay. An example is just what I gave you now as regards what do you call it, children allowance. Okay, example, I could still say taking advantage of allowances. For example, you could ask your employer to give you more of allowances, not cash equivalent allowances, your benefit in kind. Okay, an employee could take advantage of your benefit in kind. Instead of being paid a large sum of money as basic salary, those money could be converted into uniforms, could be converted into bus service, conveying you from your house to the office on a daily basis. It could also even be canteen food. You could be given meals, canteen meals. Okay, this could be a way of reducing a tax liability, because if this were monetized and it was in the hands of the taxpayer, of course we expect that he would going to pay tax on them. So that is example of tax avoidance, taking advantage of allowances, taking advantages of allowances, okay, by employer. Okay, by employer could employer could reduce the tax liability. Companies could also take advantage of the available incentives, benefits that are accrued. For example, companies could invest in export free zones, because there are advantages and benefits that they stand to reap from those by investing in those zones. These are means of avoiding tax. Okay. Now, tax evasion. This is the serious one. This is the criminal one. This is the one that is criminal. It is a deliberate act on the part of the taxpayer not to pay tax due. Here you are evading tax. You don't want to pay. Our example is by giving false information, or not even giving information at all. False information. You give false information. You suppress information. You suppress information that you give to tax authority. Okay, all of these are means by which a person or a company could evade tax. It's an offense. It's a very criminal offense, and the law frowns at it. The law frowns at it. So government will do everything to make sure that tax evasion does not go unpunished. Is that okay? So This is all about tax avoidance and tax evasion.